What is standing between you and real wealth right now? Is it a lack of money or a few habits that keep taking money away from you every single day? In this video, we are going straight to the truth. 10 things must be removed from your life if you want to get rich, and some of them may hit closer than you expect. Blaming others, wasting money, making excuses, waiting too long, staying comfortable, complaining, living with weak habits. These are not small things. They quietly shape your future. You may feel them in your wallet. You may feel them in your stress. You may feel them when you look at your life and know something must change. Stay with me, because these 10 lessons are practical, direct, and real. They can help you think better, act faster, and build a stronger future starting today. Number 1, quit blaming others and take full control today. There is a dangerous habit that keeps good people poor for too long, and it is the habit of blaming other people for their results. A person blames the boss, then they blame the economy, then they blame their parents, then they blame the government, then they blame the weather, then they blame bad luck. And while they are busy pointing fingers, they are not building anything. They are not growing. They are not learning. They are not becoming the kind of person who earns more and keeps more. You cannot build wealth with a mind that keeps escaping responsibility. That mind stays weak. That mind stays emotional. That mind stays stuck. And the hard truth is this: your future changes the moment you stop asking who is at fault and start asking what you will do next. Rich people are not always smarter than everybody else. They are not always stronger. They are not always luckier. But many of them have one powerful habit in common. They take responsibility fast. When something goes wrong, they do not stay down on the floor of excuses. They stand up in their mind first. They study the problem. They adjust. They move. They learn from the loss. They do not waste precious days feeling sorry for themselves. They understand that time is valuable. Every day has value. Every decision has value. Every small action has value. And if you waste 1 year blaming others, you lose more than money. You lose confidence. You lose energy. You lose momentum. You lose the belief that your life can change. Blaming other people feels easy at first because it protects your pride. It gives you a quick answer. It lets you say the problem is outside of you. But that comfort is expensive. It costs you progress. It costs you respect. It costs you peace of mind. A person who blames others is always waiting for someone else to fix what only discipline can fix. That kind of thinking is dangerous. It sounds innocent. It sounds normal. It sounds common. But it quietly destroys ambition. It makes you soft. It makes you dependent. It makes you weak in the exact area where strength is needed most. If you want to get rich, you must become honest with yourself. That honesty may sting at first. It may make you uncomfortable. It may even make you angry, because deep down you know you have been avoiding the truth. But honesty is the beginning of power. The day you say, "My results are my responsibility," something changes inside you. You stop being a victim of your own story. You stop waiting for permission. You stop hoping somebody rescues you. You begin to act like a person who understands that every problem can teach you something useful, if you are willing to look at it clearly. Take a close look at your life. If your income is low, then do not first blame your family. Ask what skills you have built. Ask what habits you have repeated. Ask how many hours you have spent learning. Ask how many times you have chosen comfort over effort. Ask how many times you said you wanted more money, but lived like it was not important. These are serious questions. They are not meant to shame you. They are meant to wake you up. Because waking up is better than staying asleep in financial confusion. A clear mind can improve. A confused mind keeps repeating the same year over and over. A rich life begins when you accept that no one is coming to carry the weight of your decisions. That is not cold. That is not harsh. That is reality. And reality is useful. The man or woman who accepts reality can build. The one who refuses reality keeps suffering. If you are behind today, then accept that fact without drama. If you made poor choices, then admit it without excuses. If you wasted time, then own it without self-hatred. Self-hatred helps nothing. Ownership helps everything. Ownership means you look at the truth with open eyes, and then you begin again with more wisdom. Do not make the mistake of thinking responsibility is a burden. It is not a burden. It is freedom. When you truly accept responsibility, you stop being pushed around by every mood and every opinion. You stop living like your life belongs to random events. You start making deliberate choices. You start managing your money with care. You start respecting your mornings. You start protecting your energy. You start saying no to distractions that look harmless, but steal your future one day at a time. A person who takes responsibility becomes easier to trust. People notice that. Employers notice that. Customers notice that. Partners notice that. Responsibility builds character, and character builds opportunity. Now hear this carefully. You cannot blame your way into wealth because wealth requires decision-making. It requires patience. It requires courage. It requires self-control. It requires the ability to delay comfort for a better result later. Blame weakens all of that. Every time you blame someone else, you hand away a little bit of your power. Every time you say, "It is not my fault," without asking what you can learn, you give away another piece of strength. And over time, those pieces add up to a life that feels smaller than it should. Some people wait for the perfect moment. They wait for a better job market. They wait for the perfect boss. They wait for the perfect connection. They wait for a better economy. They wait for the right person to believe in them. But the wealthy mindset does not wait forever. It asks, what can I do now with what I have? That question is powerful. It creates movement. It creates thought. It creates results. You may not control every event in your life. That is true. But you control far more than you think. You control your attitude. You control your effort. You control your study habits. You control your spending. You control your daily discipline. You control whether you complain or build. And those controls matter more than most people realize. Blaming others also damages your relationships. People grow tired of hearing the same excuses. They may not say it directly. They may not want to hurt your feelings. But they can feel when a person is not fully accountable. They can sense when someone is trying to protect ego instead of solving problems. And when trust weakens, then opportunities begin to disappear. Responsibility does the opposite. It makes you dependable. It gives others confidence in you. And confidence from others often leads to better work, better deals, and better doors opening in your life. Now here is the practical part. If you want to quit blaming others today, then start with your language. Stop using words that make you small. Stop saying they made me. Stop saying I had no choice when you did have a choice. Stop saying that is just how I am when you know you can grow. Speak like a person who is ready to improve. Say I need to learn this. Say I made a mistake. Say I will do better tomorrow. Say I am responsible for my next step. Simple words can begin a major change. Then look at your money. Write down what comes in and what goes out. Be honest. Not dramatic. Not embarrassed. Just honest. You cannot improve what you refuse to face. If money disappears too fast, then find out where it goes. If debt is growing, then face the behavior that caused it. If income is too low, then identify the skills that would help you earn more. This is not about guilt. It is about growth. The person who studies his own habits can improve them. The person who only complains stays trapped in the same cycle. You must also quit blaming the past. Your past may explain you, but it does not have to define you. Yes, maybe you were raised with little money. Yes, maybe people around you did not teach good habits. Yes, maybe you had setbacks. Yes, maybe some people let you down. That may all be true. But today is still yours. This hour is still yours. The next choice is still yours. Wealth is not built by perfect backgrounds. It is built by people who decide to become stronger from this point forward. There is dignity in that. There is power in that. There is hope in that. Some of the most painful moments in life become turning points when a person finally stops asking why life treated them badly and starts asking how they can rise. That shift matters. It moves the mind from helplessness to action. It changes posture. It changes energy. It changes the way you walk into a room. It changes the way you speak to yourself in the morning. And when your inner voice changes, your outer life starts changing too. You do not need to become perfect to get rich. You need to become responsible. You need to become consistent. You need to become willing to learn. You need to become serious about your decisions. Riches are not only about money in the bank. They begin with mental wealth. A responsible person thinks clearly. A responsible person saves more. A responsible person wastes less. A responsible person can delay pleasure. A responsible person can handle pressure. A responsible person can be trusted with larger things. That is how financial growth starts. So today, make a clean decision. Quit blaming others. Quit making your life smaller with excuses. Quit giving away your power every time something goes wrong. Stand up in your mind. Take the truth. Take the lesson. Take the next step. That is how a new life begins. Not with noise, not with complaints, not with anger. It begins with ownership. And ownership is where wealth starts to grow. You may not be where you want to be yet. That is fine. But do not stay mentally where you should have outgrown. Do not stay loyal to excuses that have already cost you too much. Look at your life with courage. Tighten your habits. Guard your time. Learn more. Spend less. Work harder. Think better. And above all, stop blaming what can't be changed and start improving what can. That is the road. That is the discipline. That is the kind of thinking that opens the door to real money and real confidence and a real future. Number 2, stop wasting money and start investing with purpose. Money is one of the most misunderstood parts of life. People work hard for it. They wake up early for it. They stay away from their families for it. They sacrifice their energy for it. Yet many never stop to ask a simple question. Where is all my money going? That question matters, because earning money and keeping money are two very different skills. And if you want to get rich, you must learn both. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that wealth comes only from earning more. Earning more helps, but that alone is not enough. There are people with high incomes who are constantly worried about bills. They earn more than they did 5 years ago, yet they still feel trapped. Why? Because every time more money arrives, they find new ways to spend it. Their lifestyle grows faster than their financial wisdom. The truth is simple. Money that is wasted today cannot work for you tomorrow. Many people spend money to feel better. They have a difficult day, so they buy something. They feel stressed, so they spend. They feel bored, so they spend. They feel left behind, so they spend even more trying to impress people. But emotional spending creates financial pressure. It gives temporary satisfaction and long-term frustration. Think about how often people buy things they do not truly need. They purchase items that lose value quickly. They spend money on appearances while ignoring their future. Then months later, they wonder why their financial situation has not improved. Wealth does not grow from random spending. Wealth grows from intentional decisions. Every dollar has a job. Every dollar can either move you closer to financial freedom or further away from it. Every purchase is a choice between today and tomorrow. The problem is that most people never think about that choice. They spend automatically. They spend emotionally. They spend without a plan. And then one day they look at their bank account and feel disappointed. The disappointment is not caused by one expensive purchase. It is caused by hundreds of small decisions repeated over time. Rich people understand something important. Money is not just for spending. Money is a tool for creating more opportunities. It is a resource that can be directed toward growth. While others focus only on consumption, successful people focus on ownership. They ask different questions. They ask how money can create more value. They ask how money can produce future income. They ask how money can improve their position 5 years from now, instead of 5 minutes from now. That difference in thinking changes everything. When you begin investing with purpose, your relationship with money changes completely. Instead of seeing money as something that disappears, you begin seeing it as something that can multiply over time. Now understand this clearly. Investing is not only about stocks. It is not only about businesses. It is not only about real estate. The first investment should always be yourself. The skills you develop can increase your income for years. The knowledge you gain can help you make better decisions. The books you read can change your thinking. The training you receive can open new opportunities. The discipline you build can improve every area of your life. Many people spend thousands of dollars on entertainment and almost nothing on self-development. Then they wonder why their financial results stay the same. Growth requires investment. If you want a different future, you must become a different person. And becoming a different person requires learning new things. There is a powerful feeling that comes from investing in yourself. You begin to feel stronger. You begin to feel more capable. You begin to trust yourself more. You know that you are building something valuable inside your mind. Nobody can take that away from you. Another important lesson is learning the difference between an expense and an investment. An expense takes money from your future without creating value. An investment increases your ability to earn, grow, or improve your life over time. Before spending money, ask yourself one question. Will this purchase help me become stronger financially in the future? That simple question can save you thousands of dollars. Many purchases fail that test. Many habits fail that test. Many financial decisions fail that test. But when you start asking better questions, you begin making better decisions. One reason people struggle financially is because they underestimate small amounts of money. They think a few dollars here and there do not matter. But wealth is built through patterns. Small actions repeated consistently create large results. A person who saves and invests consistently develops a habit that grows stronger every year. A person who spends carelessly develops a habit that becomes harder to control every year. The habits become your future. That is why discipline matters so much. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect in action. When you choose not to waste money, you are not depriving yourself. You are protecting your future. You are choosing a larger reward instead of a smaller one. You are making a decision that your future self will thank you for. Many people believe they will start investing after they become rich. That thinking keeps them poor. The wealthy mindset starts before the wealth arrives. You do not wait until you have a large amount of money. You start developing the habit now. You start learning now. You start planning now. You start managing what you already have. A person who cannot manage a small amount of money often struggles to manage a larger amount. Financial success is not just about numbers. It is about behavior. Behavior creates outcomes. Your daily choices create your future financial reality. Another mistake people make is comparing themselves to others. They see what someone else owns and immediately feel pressure to buy similar things. They want approval. They want attention. They want validation. But chasing other people's opinions can become one of the most expensive habits in the world. The people you are trying to impress are usually focused on their own lives. Meanwhile, you are sacrificing your financial future to gain approval that does not last. True confidence comes from progress. True confidence comes from knowing you are moving forward. True confidence comes from building a stronger future one decision at a time. There will be moments when investing feels slow. There will be moments when spending looks more exciting. There will be moments when discipline feels difficult. Those moments test your commitment. Anyone can make good decisions when motivation is high. The real challenge comes when temptation appears. The real challenge comes when nobody is watching. The real challenge comes when you must choose between immediate pleasure and long-term growth. That is where character is built. And character is one of the greatest financial assets a person can possess. A strong character helps you stay focused. A strong character helps you avoid costly mistakes. A strong character helps you continue moving forward even when progress seems slow. Remember this. Wealth is not created by luck. Wealth is usually created by consistent decisions made over long periods of time. Small investments become larger. Small improvements become significant. Small disciplines become powerful. The process may seem ordinary at first, but the results can become extraordinary. Imagine waking up years from now knowing that your money is working for you instead of disappearing from you. Imagine the confidence that comes from financial stability. Imagine the relief of knowing you have options. Imagine the freedom of knowing that every year your position is becoming stronger rather than weaker. That future is not built in a single day. It is built through daily choices. It is built through self-control. It is built through patience. It is built through purpose. So make a decision today. Stop allowing your money to flow toward things that add little value to your life. Stop rewarding temporary desires at the expense of long-term success. Stop treating every paycheck as permission to spend. Begin treating money with respect. Give every dollar a purpose. Invest in your knowledge. Invest in your skills. Invest in your future. Invest in opportunities that can grow over time. The goal is not simply to have more money. The goal is to create a life with greater freedom, greater security, greater confidence, and greater choices. And that journey begins the moment you stop wasting money and start investing with purpose. Because the road to wealth is not reserved for a lucky few. It is available to ordinary people who make extraordinary decisions consistently. It is available to people who think beyond today. It is available to people who understand that every financial choice matters. Your future wealth is being shaped right now by the decisions you make with the money already in your hands. Make those decisions wisely. Your future is watching. Number 3, eliminate excuses and act on opportunities daily. Excuses are expensive. They cost you time. They cost you confidence. They cost you income. They cost you chances that may not come again. A person can live for years with a mind full of reasons why something did not happen. Too tired, too busy, too late, too hard. Wrong people around me, no money, no support, no time. And while those words may sound harmless in the moment, they slowly build a life that stays small. That is how opportunity passes by while a person is still explaining why he was not ready. Excuses feel safe because they protect the ego. They allow a person to keep pride while avoiding responsibility. But pride does not pay bills. Pride does not build skill. Pride does not create income. Pride does not open doors. Action does that. Daily action, quiet action, repeated action. The kind of action that does not wait for perfect conditions. The kind of action that moves even when the mood is low and the day feels heavy. If you want to get rich, you must learn to stop talking yourself out of progress. That may sound simple, but it is one of the hardest lessons a person can learn. Many people know exactly what to do. They know they should call the client. They know they should study the market. They know they should apply for the better job. They know they should start the side business. They know they should learn the skill. They know they should meet the right people. But knowing is not enough. Knowledge without action is just stored information. It does nothing for your bank account. Every day presents opportunities. Some are small, some are large, some are easy to see, Others are hidden inside ordinary moments, a conversation, a job opening, a chance to learn, a chance to save, a chance to build trust, a chance to serve better than before, a chance to show up early, a chance to finish what you started. The problem is not usually the lack of opportunity. The problem is the lack of response. People see the opening and then let fear start talking. Fear says wait. Fear says you are not ready. Fear says someone else is better. Fear says next week. Fear says after things settle down. And if you keep listening to fear long enough, you will miss the very things that could change your life. There are people who spend years waiting for life to become easier. They think their first step should feel comfortable. They think opportunity should arrive with no pressure. They think a good chance should not ask much from them. But that is not how growth works. A real opportunity often asks for courage before it gives reward. It asks for effort before it gives results. It asks for discipline before it gives comfort. That is why so many people miss it. They want the reward first. Life rarely works that way. If you are serious about getting rich, then you must become a person who acts quickly on good opportunities. Not recklessly, not carelessly, but quickly enough to keep momentum alive. A person who waits too long often loses the advantage. A person who acts too late often watches someone else take the chance. So learn to move when the signal is clear. Learn to say yes to learning. Learn to say yes to responsibility. Learn to say yes to work that stretches you. Learn to say yes to the meeting. Learn to say yes to the course. Learn to say yes to the task that others avoid. Learn to say yes to the hard conversation that could improve your future. Excuses also grow stronger when people spend too much time thinking and too little time doing. Thinking is useful when it leads to action, but thinking becomes a trap when it replaces action. A person can spend all day building ideas in his head and never put one of them into motion. He can talk about business. He can talk about freedom. He can talk about success. Yet nothing changes because his habits are still the same. The life you live is not built by what you admire. It is built by what you repeatedly do. There is a certain honesty required to break free from excuses. You have to admit where you are wasting time. You have to admit when you are being lazy. You have to admit when you are avoiding discomfort. You have to admit when your dreams are bigger than your discipline. That kind of honesty can feel painful at first, but it is powerful. Painful because it confronts the truth. Powerful because it gives you a place to begin. And a person who knows where he stands can finally make progress. The daily habit of acting on opportunity is one of the strongest habits a person can build. Not once a month. Not when motivated. Not when everything is perfect. Daily. That means you look for value every single day. You ask what you can learn today. You ask who you can help today. You ask what can be improved today. You ask what task will move you forward today. That mindset changes how you live. It makes you alert. It makes you active. It makes you serious. A lot of people wait for one big moment. They believe one large chance will fix everything. But rich people often get rich through a long chain of small moves. They show up, they call, they learn, they test, they adjust, they keep going. They treat every day as a work day for their future. They do not need a crowd to encourage them. They do not need applause to begin. They do not need constant comfort to continue. They understand that success is built in ordinary days when no one is clapping. And this is where excuses lose their power. Excuses cannot survive in a life that is moving. Excuses need delay. They need confusion. They need comfort. They need silence. But once you begin acting daily, they start to weaken. Once you start keeping promises to yourself, the old patterns begin to lose control. Once you prove that you can do hard things without drama, you begin to trust yourself. And trust in yourself is a major force in financial growth. You should also understand that opportunities often look small at first. A humble beginning can lead to a larger income later. A simple skill can open a bigger path later. A small yes can lead to a major shift later. But if you dismiss small opportunities because your ego wants something bigger and faster, then you may be rejecting the very thing that could have changed your life. Stay humble enough to recognize value when it appears in a plain form. Stay disciplined enough to act before doubt grows. Stay awake enough to notice what others overlook. One more truth must be said plainly. Excuses give you an identity you do not need. They make you the person with good reasons and weak results. They keep you protected from blame, but also protected from growth. Do not marry your excuses. Do not protect them. Do not repeat them until they sound wise. They are not wise. They are heavy. They slow you down. They teach your mind to accept less. And once a person becomes comfortable with less, he stops asking for more. Acting on opportunity daily is not about being loud. It is about being reliable. It is about doing what you said you would do. It is about waking up with purpose. It is about making the phone call. It is about submitting the application. It is about reading the book. It is about starting before you feel fully ready. It is about moving your hands while other people are still making promises. That quiet consistency is what creates a stronger future. You may not control every door that opens, but you do control whether you walk through the doors in front of you. You do control whether you prepare yourself for the next chance. You do control whether you use today well. And if you use enough days well, your life will not stay the same. It cannot. Small daily actions create a new direction. They create new confidence. They create new income. They create new results. So stop giving your mind so many excuses that has no room left for action. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for the kind of confidence that only comes after you begin. Move now. Learn now. Build now. Speak with clarity now. Take the opportunity in front of you now. The rich life is not found in endless explanation. It is found in disciplined action repeated day after day until your results start speaking louder than your fears. Number 4, reject instant gratification and build long-term wealth. Instant gratification is one of the main reasons many people stay broke for years. They want comfort now. They want pleasure now. They want the nice thing now. They want relief now. And because they keep choosing now over later, they keep blocking the life they say they want. That is the real problem. Most people do not fail because they cannot earn. They fail because they cannot wait. They cannot delay. They cannot hold back long enough for their decisions to grow into wealth. There is a strong pull in human nature toward what feels good right away. A good meal, a new phone, a new outfit, a night out, a quick reward after a hard week. None of these things are evil. The problem begins when short pleasure starts stealing from long-term progress. A person may feel satisfied for a moment while buying something they do not need. But later they feel the weight of bills. They feel the pressure of debt. They feel the stress of having less than they should. That small rush of pleasure can become a large loss over time. Wealth requires a different kind of mind. It requires the kind of mind that can say no to a small reward now in order to receive a larger reward later. That is not weakness. That is your strength. That is discipline. That is wisdom. And wisdom is one of the great separators between people who build wealth and people who only chase comfort. Think about how money works. Every dollar you keep can be used for something larger than pleasure. It can be saved. It can be invested. It can be used to build a skill. It can be used to create future income. It can be used to move you forward. But every dollar spent carelessly disappears from your future. That is why instant gratification is so costly. It does not always look dangerous in the moment. It often looks harmless. It even looks deserved. Yet over months and years, it can destroy progress faster than many people realize. A person who wants to get rich must become patient with growth. Patience is not passive. Patience is active self-control. It is the ability to keep working while results are still forming. It is the ability to plant now and wait without quitting. It is the ability to invest in your future, even when your emotions want entertainment. That kind of patience is rare. That is why it has value. People who can delay pleasure usually build stronger lives because they are no longer controlled by every feeling that passes through them. One of the greatest traps is lifestyle inflation. The moment income rises, some people rush to raise their spending too. They make a little more money and immediately create a little more pressure. Then they wonder why they still feel broke. The answer is simple. They change their habits too fast. They let comfort grow faster than wealth. But wealthy people understand something different. They use early gains to build strength. They do not hurry to celebrate with spending. They let discipline keep the lead. You do not build lasting wealth by chasing constant pleasure. You build it by building a foundation. And foundations are not exciting. They are often quiet. They are often repetitive. They are often overlooked by people who want applause. But the foundation holds the weight of the entire future. Saving regularly, investing consistently, paying down debt, learning valuable skills, building trust, creating useful work. These actions may not produce a rush today, but they create security tomorrow. There is also an emotional side to this battle. Many people spend not because they need something, but because they want to feel better. They are tired. They are lonely. They are frustrated. They are stressed. They are bored. So they buy something to fill the feeling for a moment. But a purchase cannot heal a habit. A purchase cannot calm a troubled mind for long. A purchase cannot give lasting peace to a life built on weak decisions. The feeling comes back and often stronger than before. That is why emotional spending is so dangerous. It teaches the mind to seek relief in the wrong place. If you want to build long-term wealth, you must learn to face discomfort without immediately escaping it through spending. Sometimes the answer is not to buy something. Sometimes the answer is to sit with the discomfort and work through it. Sometimes the answer is to remember your goals and refuse the temporary urge. That moment of restraint may feel hard. Your hands may want to act. Your mind may want to justify. But every time you win that battle, you strengthen your future. Long-term wealth is built by people who can think beyond the present mood. They understand that a life of freedom does not come from every small desire being satisfied. It comes from a pattern of wise choices. They know that saying no today can mean saying yes to far greater options later. That is real maturity. That is real confidence. And that is real financial power. A person who rejects instant gratification is not living a dull life. He is living a focused life. He is choosing deeper satisfaction over shallow excitement. He knows that true joy is not found in constantly buying things. It is found in building something solid. It is found in seeing your savings grow. It is found in learning a skill that increases your value. It is found in making progress you can trust. It is found in becoming the kind of person who does not collapse under financial pressure. This is where many people must change their daily environment. If every influence around you pushes spending, then your mind will keep drifting toward spending. If every message tells you that you deserve something, now then, your discipline will weaken. So guard your attention. Be careful with the voices you let shape your habits. Spend time with people who respect delayed rewards. Read things that strengthen your thinking. Listen to ideas that make you wiser. Keep your goals in front of you so you do not forget what you are building. The world will always offer quick pleasure. That will not stop. Ads will still be loud. Friends will still invite you to spend. Temptation will still show up, but you do not have to obey it. You are not powerless. You can say no, you can pause, you can choose the future over the moment. And every time you do that, your mind becomes a little stronger. Your character becomes a little steadier. Your path becomes a little clearer. There is a special kind of confidence that comes from delayed gratification. When you know you can resist what is easy, you begin to trust yourself more. You stop being a slave to impulse. You stop living from urge to urge. You begin living with intention. That change is powerful because money management is not just about arithmetic. It is about character. The person who cannot handle small wants will often struggle with bigger responsibilities. But the person who can control himself in small things becomes ready for larger things. Wealth is not built by people who always feel like sacrificing. It is built by people who decide that sacrifice now is worth the freedom later. They understand that comfort has a cost. They understand that every unnecessary purchase may be stealing from a future opportunity. They understand that a strong bank account begins with a strong mind. And a strong mind knows how to wait, so look at your habits with honesty. Ask yourself what you keep buying that gives little value. Ask yourself how often your money disappears into moods. Ask yourself whether your spending is helping your future or feeding your impatience. Do not answer casually. Answer truthfully. Truth is where change begins. Then begin making small but serious adjustments. Put part of your income away before you spend it. Learn to enjoy progress instead of impulse. Delay the purchase when it is not needed. Choose the investment over the toy. Choose the skill over the distraction. Choose the future over the feeling. These choices may not feel dramatic at first, but they are the kind of choices that quietly change a life. The people who become financially strong are not always the ones who earn the most in the beginning. Often they are the ones who protect what they earn. They do not let every desire take control. They do not hand their future over to passing emotions. They build with patience. They think with purpose. They live with discipline. And little by little, they create a life with more freedom than they had before. That is the power of rejecting instant gratification. It may seem like a small decision in the moment, but over time it becomes a major advantage. It gives you room to invest. It gives you room to grow. It gives you room to breathe. It gives you the kind of financial strength that comes from wisdom instead of impulse. And that is the kind of strength that lasts. Number 5, avoid negative people who discourage your financial growth. Negative people can cost you more than money. They can cost you your confidence. They can cost you your courage. They can cost you your focus. They can slow down your thinking until you begin to doubt your own ability to grow. And if you want to get rich, you must understand this clearly. Your environment matters. The people around you matter. The voices you listen to every day matter. Because over time, people shape your habits and your habits shape your income. A negative person may not always look dangerous at first. Sometimes they are family. Sometimes they are a close friend. Sometimes they are a coworker who laughs at serious goals. Sometimes they are someone who has accepted a small life and now wants you to do the same. They do not always attack you directly. Many times they use small words. They say money is not important. They say ambition is selfish. They say success changes people. They say rich people must have done something wrong. They say it is safer to stay where you are. And if you hear that long enough, it begins to enter your thinking. That is the real danger. Poor thinking is contagious. Doubt spreads. Complaint spreads. Fear spreads. Small thinking spreads. A person who spends too much time with people who complain about everything begins to complain too. A person who spends too much time with people who never plan begins to stop planning. A person who spends too much time with people who mock growth begins to hide his own dreams. And once a dream is hidden for too long, it starts to weaken. If you want to build financial strength, you cannot allow every voice near your mind. You must protect your thinking. You must guard your courage. You must choose carefully who gets access to your energy. That is not cold, that is smart. Wealth requires mental strength, and mental strength cannot grow well in a toxic environment. If the people around you keep pulling you down, then every step forward will feel heavier than it should. Some people do not want you to rise because your growth makes them face their own lack of effort. When you start saving, they may joke about it. When you start learning, they may say you are acting different. When you start working harder, they may say you think you are better than everyone else. When you start spending less, they may call you cheap. When you start building something useful, they may tell you it will never work. That is how insecure people often respond to growth. They do not understand discipline, so they attack it. You must be strong enough to hear those voices without obeying them. That takes maturity. That takes self-respect. That takes vision. Because if you keep allowing other people to define your limits, then you will live inside their comfort zone instead of building your own future. And their comfort zone may be too small for your life. It is important to understand that not every negative person must be cut off completely. Some must simply be managed with wisdom. You may still love them. You may still respect them. You may still help them in ways that are healthy, but you do not have to let them shape your decisions. Not every opinion deserves a seat at your table. Not every comment deserves attention. Not every warning deserves belief. Some people are speaking from fear. Some people are speaking from pain. Some people are speaking from their own failures. Their words can be loud, but loud does not mean wise. A strong financial life often begins with a clear mental boundary. You decide what kind of thinking you will allow. You decide what kind of conversations you will entertain. You decide what kind of energy you will carry into your day. If someone only calls to complain, then your time with them becomes expensive. If someone only brings doubt, then their presence starts to damage your focus. If someone keeps making light of your goals, then they are not helping your future. They may be entertaining. They may be familiar. They may be easy to be around. But easy is not always good. The people who help you grow are often not the loudest people in the room. They may speak less. They may ask better questions. They may challenge you to think clearly. They may remind you to stay disciplined when your emotions want to wander. They may not always agree with you, but they will not try to shrink you. They will not laugh at your dreams. They will not make success sound foolish. They will push you to become more responsible with your time, your energy, and your money. That kind of influence is valuable. It helps you stay serious. It helps you stay clear. It helps you stay hungry for growth without becoming careless or arrogant. The right people do not flatter you. They strengthen you. They help you think bigger and live better. You do not need many people to succeed. You need the right people. One wise friend can do more for your future than 100 loud critics. One disciplined example can influence your choices for years. One positive conversation can restore your courage after a hard day. So be careful. Choose the people who speak life into your goals. Choose the people who respect work. Choose the people who understand sacrifice. Choose the people who are building something real. If you cannot change your environment quickly, then change your exposure. Spend less time in negative conversation. Reduce the amount of time you spend listening to people who drain your mind. Do not sit in every discussion that weakens your thinking. Do not share your biggest plans with people who have never built anything. Be wise with your words. Protect your ideas until they are strong enough to stand. Not everyone deserves full access to your growth. This does not mean you become proud or distant in a bad way. It means you become careful. It means you become selective. It means you stop giving too much attention to people who do not value what you are trying to build. There is a difference between kindness and weakness. You can be kind and still have boundaries. You can be respectful and still stay focused. You can care about people and still refuse to let their fear control your life. Many financial failures begin long before money is lost. They begin when a person slowly accepts a weak identity. He begins to think small because the people around him think small. He begins to settle because everyone around him has settled. He begins to laugh at hard work because others mock it. That is how growth dies quietly. Not always with one big mistake. Often with repeated small compromises. You must ask yourself a serious question. Who is shaping my thinking every week? Who makes me more disciplined? Who makes me more honest? Who makes me more focused? Who makes me weaker? Who makes me lazy? Who makes me doubt my future? These questions matter because your future does not come from wishful thinking. It comes from the choices you make about your daily influence. If your goal is to get rich, then protect your mind like it is your most valuable asset. Because it is. A strong mind builds a strong schedule. A strong mind protects money. A strong mind keeps promises. A strong mind can handle pressure without falling apart. And a strong mind does not stay in negative company just because it feels familiar. There may come a time when you must distance yourself from people who refuse to grow. That is not cruelty. That is responsibility. You are responsible for your own future. You are responsible for the habits you keep. You are responsible for the atmosphere you allow around your dreams. And if some people keep pulling you toward discouragement, then you must love yourself enough to move closer to those who support progress. Your financial growth will never be stronger than your thinking. And your thinking will never stay strong if you keep feeding it with constant negativity. So be deliberate. Choose wisely. Speak less about dreams with those who laugh at them. Spend more time with those who understand discipline. Keep your mind clear. Keep your standards high. Keep your future in view. There is a better life waiting for the person who guards his mind and protects his direction. There is more income available to the person who refuses to be shaped by weak voices. There is more peace available to the person who chooses growth over gossip and progress over complaint. And when you make that choice consistently, your life begins to change in ways that people around you will notice. That change begins with one decision. Avoid negative people who discourage your financial growth. Respect them if you must. Love them if you can. But do not let them lead your life. Number 6. End procrastination and complete important tasks immediately. Procrastination is one of the quietest ways people stay poor. It does not always look dangerous. It does not always feel serious. It often feels harmless in the moment. You say you will do it later. You tell yourself tomorrow will be better. You convince yourself that the timing is not right yet. But later becomes a habit. Tomorrow becomes a pattern. And before long, the important work is still waiting while your life keeps moving without it. A person who delays important tasks is not just losing time. He is losing momentum. He is losing trust in himself. He is losing the strong feeling that comes from doing what needs to be done. And when that feeling disappears, progress becomes harder. Not because the task is impossible, but because the mind has become used to delay. Many people think procrastination is a time problem. It is more than that. It is often a self-respect problem. It is the difference between a person who keeps promises to himself and a person who breaks them quietly every day. When you say you will make the call and then do not make the call, something inside weakens. When you say you will study and then scroll instead, something inside softens. When you say you will start and then keep waiting for a better mood, something inside begins to lose power. That is why rich people and successful people often have a strong habit of quick action. They do not always know everything at the start. They do not always feel perfect. They do not always have full confidence. But they move. They answer the email. They send the proposal. They make the appointment. They clean up the mess. They finish the task that matters. They understand that action creates clarity. Delay creates confusion. If you want to get rich, you must learn to respect the tasks that matter most. Important work should not wait behind low-value habits. The key is not to stay busy. The key is to stay effective. A person can spend all day moving around and still do almost nothing useful. That kind of day feels full but produces very little. The goal is to complete the work that changes your future. That may be a hard phone call. It may be a job application. It may be learning a skill. It may be making a budget. It may be starting the business. It may be fixing a habit that has been draining your money for years. The mind often resists important work because important work can feel uncomfortable at first. It asks for focus. It asks for effort. It asks for honesty. It asks for discipline. That is exactly why it matters. Easy tasks are not usually the ones that grow your income. The work that counts most is often the work you would rather avoid. But if you avoid it too long, the cost grows. Bills do not stop. Chances do not wait forever. Time does not slow down. Life keeps moving whether you act or not. There is a certain relief that comes from finishing what matters early. You can feel it in your body. Your shoulders relax. Your mind gets lighter. Your day opens up. You are no longer carrying the weight of unfinished business. That relief is not just emotional. It is strategic. It gives you room to think clearly. It gives you room to make better choices. It gives you room to keep building. The habit of immediate action builds confidence. Every time you act without delay, you send a message to your own mind. You are saying that your word means something. You are saying that your goals are serious. You are saying that discomfort will not control you. And when your mind hears that message again and again, it begins to believe you. Confidence is not only a feeling, it is built by proof. You prove to yourself that you can move. You prove that you can finish. You prove that you can handle pressure without falling apart. Now think about how much money is lost through delay. A missed deadline can cost a client. A delayed application can cost a job. A postponed learning plan can cost a promotion. A half-finished side business can cost future income. A bill paid late can cost fees. A habit of waiting can cost opportunities that never come back. Procrastination is expensive because the world rewards action more than intention. Good intentions are nice, but results come from movement. You do not have to wait until you feel fully ready. That feeling may never come. Readiness often grows while you are already working. The first step may feel awkward. The second step may feel slow. The third step may feel uncertain. But by the time you continue, the fear gets smaller and the task gets clearer. Many people never discover this because they keep waiting for courage before they begin. Courage is often the result of beginning, not the reason for it. A person who wants financial growth must train himself to start small but start now. Open the document. Make the first list. Read the first page. Call the first person. Save the first amount. Send the first message. Finish the first task. Small starts matter because they break the grip of delay. Once the first move is made, the mind stops creating so much resistance. The problem becomes easier to face when it is already in motion. There is also pride in finishing quickly. Not careless speed, not rushed work, but focused action. A person who handles important tasks promptly creates a reputation for reliability. People notice that. They trust that person. They want to work with that person. They want to send opportunities to that person. In many cases, the ability to act fast and finish well is one of the things that separates average earners from stronger earners. Procrastination also steals peace. Even when you are not working on the task, your mind is still aware of it. It sits in the background and drains energy. You may sit down to rest, but the unfinished work is still there. You may try to enjoy your evening, but the pressure remains. You may try to sleep, but the problem is still waiting for morning. That is why delayed work becomes emotional weight. It stays with you until you face it. And when you finally choose to act, you often realize the task was not as big as your mind made it seem. That is one of the most painful truths about procrastination. The fear was often larger than the work itself. The delay made it heavier. The mind turned it into something harder than it really was. Action reveals the truth. Action breaks the illusion. Action shows you that you were stronger than your hesitation. If you are serious about getting rich, then build a life that respects urgency. Not panic, not chaos, urgency. Important things deserve timely attention. The right bill, the right skill, the right opportunity, the right conversation, the right decision. These should not be postponed without good reason. Your future is made from the tasks you complete while they still matter. Start building the habit of finishing today. When something important appears, do not keep staring at it while your mind creates excuses. Do not let comfort take the lead. Do not let fear decide the schedule. Move with purpose. Move with discipline. Move with the clear understanding that your life improves when your actions improve. You are not trying to become busy. You are trying to become effective. You are not trying to impress anyone with activity. You are trying to build a stronger future. That future needs completed tasks, not promises. It needs action, not delay. It needs discipline, not excuses. It needs a person who is ready to say that important work will be done now, not someday. So end the habit of waiting. Finish the task. Make the call. Do the work. Learn the skill. Handle the responsibility. Clear the delay out of your life and give your future a better chance to grow. A rich life is not built by people who keep postponing what matters. It is built by people who act while the opportunity is still alive. Number 7, leave your comfort zone and pursue bigger goals. Comfort feels good for a while. That is why so many people stay there long after it stops helping them. It is warm. It is familiar. It asks very little from you. It lets you repeat the same day with small changes and no real pressure. But comfort has a hidden cost. It can slowly shrink your thinking. It can train you to expect less from yourself. It can make you protect your routine so strongly that you stop reaching for a better life. And if you want to get rich, you must be honest about this. Big results do not come from a life built only on comfort. A comfort zone is not always a bad place in itself. Rest matters. Stability matters. Peace matters. But comfort becomes dangerous when it starts to control your decisions. A person who only chooses what feels easy will not stretch. He will not learn enough. He will not take enough risk. He will not meet the people who can help him grow. He will not build the discipline needed for wealth. He will keep saying he wants more while living in a way that protects him from the very effort that more requires. The truth is that bigger goals ask more of you. They ask for courage. They ask for patience. They ask for discipline when your mood is weak. They ask for action before you feel fully prepared. They ask you to be visible when you would rather stay hidden. They ask you to fail a few times without quitting. Many people want the reward of a bigger life, but they do not want the pressure that comes with it. They want higher income without higher responsibility. They want respect without sacrifice. They want freedom without the work that creates it. That is not how real life works. Every serious goal will eventually push you beyond what feels normal. You will need to make calls you have been avoiding. You will need to learn skills that make you uncomfortable at first. You will need to speak up even when your voice shakes a little. You will need to accept that growth often begins in the middle of uncertainty. If you wait until everything feels safe, then you may wait forever. Safe is not the same as strong. Safe is not the same as successful. Safe is not the same as rich. Many people do not leave their comfort zone because they are afraid of looking foolish. They are afraid of failing in front of others. They are afraid of being judged. They are afraid of losing what little security they already have. Those fears are real. They are human, but they cannot be in charge if your future matters. A person who wants a larger life must be willing to face temporary discomfort for a larger reward later. There is no serious growth without some nervous moments. There is no meaningful progress without moments where your heart beats faster and your mind has to settle itself down. One of the most important habits you can build is the habit of doing one difficult thing every day. It does not have to be dramatic. It may be a call. It may be a study session. It may be a sales conversation. It may be asking for help. It may be saying no to something that wastes your time. It may be finishing work early so you can build a better future in the hours that remain. That daily discomfort matters. It teaches you that fear is not a command. It teaches you that growth begins when you choose action over hesitation. If your goal is to get rich, then your comfort zone must become a place you visit briefly instead of a place you live in permanently. The money you want will not likely come from repeating what everyone else is doing in the same safe way. Wealth often comes from moving into spaces where your value can increase. That may mean starting a side business. That may mean learning a skill that many people avoid. That may mean changing your circle. That may mean presenting yourself better. That may mean taking responsibility for problems instead of waiting for someone else to solve them. Bigger goals require bigger self-respect. They require you to act like your future is worth the effort. There is something powerful that happens when a person begins to stretch. At first, there is resistance. The body wants the easy choice. The mind wants the known path. But once you begin to move with purpose, something else appears. You feel alive. You feel more awake. You feel more capable. You begin to notice that your ability is greater than you thought. You start handling pressure a little better. You stop needing so much approval. You begin to trust your own effort. And that trust becomes a major advantage in life. A person who stays comfortable too long may not feel pain right away. That is what makes it so dangerous. The damage is slow. The results show up later. The missed income, the missed chance, the missed education, the missed connection, the missed confidence. Comfort often hides the cost until the bill comes due. Then the person looks around and wonders why life feels smaller than it should. The answer is usually found in the choices that were made for convenience instead of growth. You must decide that your life will not be shaped only by what is easy. You must begin asking better questions. What would I do if I were serious about my future? What habit am I protecting that is holding me back? What challenge have I been avoiding because it makes me uncomfortable? What goal have I delayed because it feels too big? What am I capable of if I stop limiting myself with old habits? Those questions can change a life if you answer them honestly. Leaving your comfort zone does not mean being reckless. It means being willing. It means being teachable. It means choosing growth on purpose. It means understanding that your next level will probably ask for more than your current level. That is normal. That is expected. That is part of progress. A stronger life requires stronger habits. Higher income requires higher value. Bigger goals require a bigger version of you. The good news is that you do not need to change everything at once. You just need to start moving in the right direction. A little more discipline, a little more learning, a little more courage, a little more focus, a little less hesitation, a little less comfort chasing, a little less hiding. That is how change begins. It begins in ordinary days with serious choices. You may feel resistance when you start. That is not a sign to stop. That is often a sign that you are moving into a better place. Growth can feel uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. The first steps may be awkward. The new responsibility may feel heavy. The higher standard may feel demanding. But the very things that stretch you are often the things that strengthen you. A bigger goal should make you think differently about your time. It should make you more careful with distractions. It should make you more serious about your mornings. It should make you more selective about the people you listen to. It should make you more disciplined with your money and your attention. When the goal is large enough, it begins to change your habits. And when your habits change, your income can change too. Do not underestimate the value of discomfort. It can teach you more than comfort ever will. Comfort can give you rest, but discomfort can give you growth. Comfort can make today easier, but discomfort can make tomorrow richer. And if your aim is a life with more freedom and more options, then you must learn to respect the hard moments instead of running from them. So make the decision. Leave the comfort zone that has kept you too small. Reach for the goal that asks more from you. Take the uncomfortable step. Keep going when it feels unfamiliar. Learn what you need to learn. Do what you have avoided. Build the habits that support a larger future. There is a better life waiting on the other side of your willingness. Not a perfect life, not an easy life, a stronger life, a wiser life, a more capable life. And for the person who keeps moving forward, that kind of life can become a very rich one. Number 8. Stop complaining and focus on creating valuable solutions. Complaining is one of the easiest habits a person can build and one of the most damaging. It begins with small remarks. The weather is too hot. The job is too hard. The pay is too low. The traffic is too slow. The people are too difficult. The timing is not right. At first, those words may sound harmless, but after a while, they shape the mind. And once the mind gets used to complaining, it stops looking for answers. It starts looking for reasons to stay stuck. A person who complains too much becomes focused on what is wrong instead of what can be done. That is a serious problem because life rewards those who solve problems. Life does not pay well for constant dissatisfaction. It pays for usefulness. It pays for clarity. It pays for people who bring something valuable to the table. And if you want to get rich, you must become one of those people. You must become someone who sees trouble and starts thinking. Someone who notices a gap and starts building. Someone who hears a complaint and begins searching for a better way. There is a deep weakness hidden inside complaining. It makes a person feel active without actually changing anything. You talk. You repeat the same frustration. You get attention for a moment. People may nod, they may agree, but nothing improves. Your mind has spent energy without producing value. And over time, that habit becomes a trap. You begin to expect things to be wrong. You begin to see obstacles before opportunities. You begin to sound busy while staying ineffective. Now compare that with the person who focuses on solutions. That person does not waste long hours describing the problem. He looks at the problem and asks useful questions. What can be improved here? What can be fixed? What is missing? What can I learn? Who needs help? What would make this work better? That way of thinking is powerful because it turns frustration into movement. It turns pressure into ideas. It turns complaints into progress. And progress is where money begins to grow. Money follows value. That is one of the oldest truths in life. If you want to earn more, then learn to solve more. If you want to rise, then become more useful. If you want better income, then develop better answers. The world is full of problems. That is not the issue. The real issue is whether you will be the kind of person who complains about them or the kind of person who creates value because of them. There is a big difference between those two lives. A complainer often believes he is being honest. He says he is just telling the truth. But truth without responsibility becomes useless noise. It may be true that the system is unfair in some cases. It may be true that some people get better chances. It may be true that life is not always simple. Those things may be real. Yet none of them change your position today unless you do something with them. Complaining keeps you emotionally involved without making you stronger. Solutions make you stronger because they demand thought and action. If you study the people who create wealth and influence, you will often find that they do not stay stuck in emotional talk. They move toward action. They see a need and think about how to serve it. They see confusion and think about how to simplify it. They see delay and think about how to speed things up. They see waste and think about how to improve efficiency. They are not perfect people. They are not always cheerful, but they are useful, and usefulness is valuable. A person who wants to get rich should make it a habit to ask solution questions every day. What problem can I solve today? What task can I complete that will help someone else? What system can I improve? What mistake can I correct? What skill do I need to build so I can offer more value? These questions train the mind to produce. And when the mind gets trained to produce, money often follows. Complaining also hurts your energy. It gives you a heavy feeling. It makes the body tense. It makes the face tired. It changes the tone of your voice. People can feel when you are carrying a negative spirit for too long. They may not say it directly, but they notice. And over time, they may avoid bringing opportunities to someone who always seems dissatisfied. Solution-minded people attract more trust because they make others feel that something can be done. They bring hope with practical steps, not empty words. There is nothing noble about staying angry at problems you refuse to solve. That kind of thinking can feel dramatic, but drama does not build income. Discipline does. Useful action does. Clear thought does. A strong life is usually built by people who manage their emotions enough to keep working. They know how to feel frustration without living inside it. They know how to notice what is broken without becoming broken themselves. This is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about refusing to stay trapped in what is not fine. Honest people still complain sometimes. That is human. But wise people do not camp there. They acknowledge the issue. They get the facts. They start planning. They take the next step. They keep moving. That movement is important because life changes through motion, not through endless expression of frustration. If your goal is wealth, then you must become someone others can rely on when problems appear. That means you bring calm, you bring thought, you bring effort, you bring a useful idea, you bring a better method, you bring value under pressure. People pay for that kind of presence. They pay with money, they pay with trust, they pay with chances, they pay with respect, and over time that respect can become a major part of your income growth. A habit of complaining also weakens discipline. A person who complains too often starts avoiding responsibility. He says the task is unfair. He says the demands are too much. He says nobody helps him. He says the work is beneath him. But while he is talking, the more serious person is learning the task, doing the work, and becoming better. The reward usually goes to the one who is willing to carry the load and improve the process. Solution thinking is a form of leadership. Even if you are not in charge yet, this habit prepares you for leadership later. Leaders are expected to improve conditions. They are expected to solve, not simply to react. They are expected to keep their heads clear when others become emotional. That is one reason solution-focused people grow faster. They are training the habits that allow them to handle more responsibility. A good question can be more profitable than a long complaint. A strong idea can be worth more than hours of frustration. A calm response can save money, time, and relationships. That is why the mind must be trained carefully. Feed it with useful thoughts. Direct it toward improvement. Make it search for value. Make it ask what works. Make it want progress more than attention. There will always be something to complain about. Always. The weather will not be perfect. The market will not always be kind. Some people will disappoint you. Some plans will fail. Some days will feel rough. But if you choose to become a solution person, those facts lose control over your future. They become conditions to work with, not chains to live in. That shift matters more than many people realize. You can tell the direction of a life by the way a person talks about difficulty. Does he only describe what is wrong, or does he begin to build what is right? Does he repeat the pain, or does he move toward the answer? Does he stay trapped in the complaint, or does he turn the problem into something useful? That choice appears small in the moment, but it shapes a future one day at a time. So stop feeding your mind with complaint after complaint. It weakens your spirit and delays your growth. Start asking what can be improved. Start looking for the value hidden in the problem. Start thinking like a builder instead of a critic. Start speaking like someone who expects to make things better. That is where financial progress begins. That is where respect grows. That is where opportunity appears. And that is where a stronger future starts to take shape. Number 9, refuse average habits and develop disciplined daily routines. Average habits create average results. That is a plain truth, and a hard one too. Most people do not fail because they are completely lazy. They fail because they live with small habits that quietly hold them back every single day. They sleep a little too late. They start a little too slowly. They check their phone before they check their goals. They eat without thinking. They spend without planning. They work without focus. They promise themselves change, but their routine stays the same. And a life built on weak habits cannot produce strong results for long. If you want to get rich, you cannot keep living like money. And time are unlimited. They are not. Time leaves every day. Money slips away when it is not watched carefully. Energy fades when it is wasted on careless patterns. And the habits you repeat in private will one day show up in public through your income, your confidence, and your results. That is why disciplined daily routines matter so much. They are not small details. They are the shape of your future. A disciplined person does not wait for a perfect mood. He does not depend on inspiration. He does not need everything to feel easy before he begins. He has a routine that carries him forward even on days when he feels tired, slow, or distracted. That is the difference between people who talk about success and people who live it. One group waits for feelings. The other group builds habits. Feelings come and go. Habits stay. Average habits are dangerous because they feel normal. They do not look harmful at first. Missing one morning, spending one extra hour doing nothing, skipping one study session, ignoring one task, sleeping in once more, eating badly again, staying up too late again. These things can seem minor, but repeated over time, they shape your identity. They train your mind to accept less. They teach your body to expect comfort. They keep your standards low. And once your standards are low, your income often follows. A strong routine gives your day direction. It removes confusion. It gives your mind a place to begin. Wake up with purpose. Plan the day before the day begins. Read something useful. Move your body. Handle the most important task early. Protect your attention. Review your money. Learn one new thing. Finish what you start. These are not dramatic actions, but they are powerful. Wealth is often built by ordinary actions done with uncommon consistency. Many people admire discipline from a distance, but they do not build it into their daily life. They like the idea of success, but they resist the structure that success requires. They want the income, but not the system. They want the freedom, but not the habits that create freedom. That is why they remain stuck. A disciplined routine is not glamorous. It is not always exciting. It is often quiet and repetitive. Yet that quiet repetition is exactly what makes it valuable. It turns effort into progress, and progress into results. Refusing average habits means becoming serious about what you allow into your day. It means watching your mornings closely, because mornings often decide the mood of the whole day. If the first hour is wasted, the mind often stays behind all day. If the first hour is clear, the day usually becomes stronger. It also means being careful with the night. A late night filled with useless activity can rob the next day before it even begins. Discipline is not just about doing more. It is about protecting what matters. You must also become honest about the habits that give you comfort, but take away your future. Some routines feel relaxing, but leave you unprepared. Some habits feel harmless, but weaken your focus. Some patterns make you feel busy while moving you nowhere. The disciplined person asks a different question. He asks whether the habit helps him grow. He asks whether it strengthens his mind. He asks whether it improves his earning power. That is a better way to live, because it keeps your attention on what matters. There is power in simple daily structure. When you know what to do first, you waste less energy deciding. When you have fixed times for work, learning, rest, and planning, your mind becomes more stable. You stop drifting. You stop living by random urges. You stop letting the day control you. Instead, you begin to control the day. That sense of control is valuable, because financial success often comes to people who can manage themselves before they try to manage larger things. Average habits often look harmless because they are shared by many. Many people delay. Many people sleep too much. Many people spend carelessly. Many people ignore planning. Many people break promises to themselves. But common does not mean wise. The fact that many people do something does not make it helpful. If your goal is a better life, then you must be willing to live differently. Not in a proud way, but in a disciplined way. You must be willing to choose what works over what feels easy. A disciplined routine also builds self-respect. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your confidence rises. Every time you do the hard thing before the easy thing, your mind gets stronger. Every time you repeat a useful habit, you become a little more dependable. That matters because people trust dependable people. Opportunities often flow toward those who are serious, consistent, and prepared. A strong routine makes you more prepared, and preparation is one of the greatest advantages in life. If you want money to stay in your life, you must also give your finances a routine. Check your spending, track your progress, save with purpose, review your goals, make time to think about the future. Financial discipline does not happen by accident. It happens when money is treated with respect every day. Average habits say spend first and think later. Disciplined habits say think first and spend with purpose. That small shift can change a life over time. The truth is that many people are only one set of disciplined habits away from a much better future. They do not need magic. They do not need to become someone else. They need structure. They need consistency. They need a morning that starts well. They need a day that includes useful work. They need evenings that do not destroy progress. They need enough self-control to keep choosing what helps rather than what harms. You do not have to build a perfect routine overnight. Start with one strong habit. Then add another. Then protect them both. Let the routine grow with you. Let it become something you can trust. A disciplined life is built piece by piece. It may feel small in the beginning, but it becomes powerful through repetition. That is how strong people are made. Not by one huge moment, but by many small decisions that line up in the right direction. Refuse average habits because average habits create average outcomes. Choose daily routines that support your future. Choose habits that make you stronger, clearer, calmer, and more valuable. Choose discipline over drift. Choose structure over chaos. Choose consistency over convenience. The person who does that long enough will not stay where he started. His income can grow. His confidence can grow. His influence can grow. And his life can become a great example of what happens when discipline replaces weakness. Number 10. Abandon fear of failure and take calculated risks. Fear of failure has stopped more good people than lack of talent ever did. It has stopped people before they started. It has stopped people after they learned enough to succeed. It has stopped people at the edge of a chance that could have changed their lives. That fear feels personal. It feels real. It speaks in a quiet voice and says, do not risk it. Do not look foolish. Do not lose what you have. Do not step forward yet. Stay safe. Stay where you are. But safety without growth can become a slow form of loss. A person who wants to get rich must face this truth with honesty. There is no wealth without movement, and there is no movement without risk. Not reckless risk, not foolish risk, calculated risk, thoughtful risk. The kind of risk that comes from learning, preparation, and clear thinking. The kind of risk that respects reality while still moving toward a better future. People who build wealth do not deny fear exists. They simply refuse to let fear make all the decisions. Failure is not the enemy. Fear of failure is. Failure can teach. Failure can correct. Failure can reveal what needs to improve. Failure can show you where your plan was weak. Failure can save you from a larger mistake later. But fear of failure can keep you small for years. It can make you turn down chances before they even have a chance to grow. It can make you protect comfort instead of building strength. It can make you trade possibility for routine. And that trade is expensive. There are people who spend their whole lives trying to avoid the feeling of embarrassment. They do not want to hear no. They do not want to be corrected. They do not want to start at the bottom. They do not want to be seen learning in public. They want confidence before action. But confidence usually comes after action. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving with wisdom, even when fear is present. That is a very different thing. If you want a stronger financial life, you must be willing to enter some uncertainty. You may need to ask for the opportunity. You may need to change careers. You may need to start the side business. You may need to launch the idea. You may need to invest in yourself before anyone else notices your effort. You may need to speak up when silence has been holding you back. You may need to learn new skills that feel awkward at first. All of that carries risk, but staying still carries a greater one. Staying still can quietly waste your future. Calculated risk begins with preparation. You do not jump blindly. You study. You learn the numbers. You improve your judgment. You build savings. You strengthen your skills. You ask better questions. You gather facts. You think through the outcome. Then you act with intention. That is not foolishness. That is responsibility. A mature person does not run from every unknown. He understands that waiting forever is also a decision and often a costly one. One reason many people stay poor is that they mistake discomfort for danger. The two are not the same. Discomfort is often a sign that you are stretching into new territory. Danger is doing something unwise without thinking. Many opportunities feel uncomfortable because they ask more of you than your current habits can handle. That does not mean you should avoid them. It means you should prepare and move with care. A better life is often uncomfortable before it becomes rewarding. A person who always avoids risk may tell himself he is being wise. Sometimes that is true, but often he is really being controlled by fear. He has learned to protect himself from temporary pain, and in doing so, he has protected himself from growth. He stays with what is familiar because it feels easier. He rejects the chance to improve because improvement asks for something uncertain. Yet the same person is often unhappy with his results. That is the cost of refusing to stretch. Money often comes to those who can handle uncertainty better than the average person. They do not panic when they have to make a decision. They do not freeze when a new path appears. They do not need perfect conditions before they begin. They understand that no major opportunity arrives with complete certainty attached. There is always some unknown. There is always some pressure. There is always some chance of loss. But there is also a chance for gain, growth, and progress. The person who understands this can move forward while others remain stuck in hesitation. You do not overcome fear by waiting for it to disappear. You overcome it by building trust in your own preparation and taking the next sensible step. Start with smaller risks. Start with learning. Start with practice. Start with low-pressure decisions that train your mind to act. Then grow into larger moves as your confidence and skills rise. The goal is not to become careless. The goal is to become capable. Capable people can handle more. They can make better decisions under pressure. They can recover faster when a choice does not work out. They can keep going without falling apart. Fear also grows stronger when you keep feeding it with stories. You remember one bad outcome and then treat it like proof that all future risks will fail. That is not wisdom. That is fear talking in circles. A single mistake does not define your ability. A past loss does not cancel future success. A failed attempt does not mean you should stop trying. The person who becomes wealthy learns to separate one outcome from one identity. He says that was a lesson, not a life sentence. Taking calculated risks also means being willing to be misunderstood. People around you may not always understand why you are moving. They may think you are being too ambitious. They may call you reckless when you are actually being careful. They may call you unrealistic when you are simply thinking larger than they are. That can be uncomfortable. But your future is not built by pleasing everyone. It is built by making wise decisions and staying committed to them. There is a special kind of strength in a person who can act while afraid. He does not need drama. He does not need to look fearless. He simply refuses to surrender his future to nervous thoughts. He checks the facts. He does the work. He takes the step. He learns from the result. He keeps his head clear. That kind of person grows faster because he is not spending all his energy on avoiding discomfort. If you want to get rich, see risk as part of the price of entry. Every better job, every business move, every investment, every skill upgrade, every meaningful opportunity carries some uncertainty. The difference is that calculated risk gives you a chance to grow, while fear gives you the same result as before. One opens the door. The other keeps it closed. The wise path is not to act wildly. The wise path is to prepare deeply, think clearly, and move when the time is right. You can ask questions. You can study. You can talk to people who know more than you. You can build reserves. You can test your ideas. You can refine your plan. But after that, action is required. A plan that never moves is only a nice thought. Wealth is built by people who turn thought into motion. So abandon the fear that keeps you safe but small. Stop treating every risk as a threat to your identity. Start treating smart risk as part of your growth. Learn to make decisions with your eyes open. Learn to accept that some outcomes will not go your way. Learn to see each attempt as part of the process, not a final judgment on your worth. The future belongs to the person who can think well, act wisely, and keep moving even when there is no guarantee. That is how courage grows. That is how confidence is built. That is how wealth begins.